Hi everyone, this is Dina. I'm the Nightly Stitcher here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. And this is Tootie, and if you follow me along, you know who Tootie is. And she is really tired and ready for a nap. We're downstairs in my living room. I'm sitting in my chair that I always stitch in, and she lays here beside me and takes a nap, and I think she's ready for one. Do you want to say hi first before I put you down? Do you want to say hi? Okay. All right. You sit down there. So, yeah, and Hannah's already asleep over here on the couch. So, anyway, welcome. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and look at the things I have to show you today. If you're just returning, if you are, see, I mess up every single time. If you're a returning viewer, I hope you continue to watch, and I appreciate all the support I get from everyone out there. Today is Wednesday, January the 28th. The first month is almost over of the new year, and this is Flosstube 47. I got my notes set in here. Last time I made so many mistakes in my video, and for some reason I had my last video labeled as Flosstube 44. I was way off. So this is Flosstube 47. And the last Flosstube was 46 instead of 44. So anyway, if you followed by the Flosstube number, I'm probably not, but I just had so many mistakes. I didn't watch it before I post, and I normally do, but it was kind of like, yeah, it'll be all right. I just want to get it up because I don't usually have to go back and correct anything. And if you follow me, you know I don't edit. It goes up with all the boo-boos and stuff anyway, but I kind of want to know what to expect. So anyway, I don't remember what the other mistakes are, but when I watched it back after I posted it on YouTube, I caught them. But anyway, today I'm going to show you what I've been working on in January. I have a whole new plan for this year, and hopefully it works out and I stick with it. So I'm going to show you everything that I've stitched on through January and what I'm going to be stitching on February. I am going to have a couple of new starts, and I'll show you those. So I think that's about it on everything. I managed to stitch every single day this month except for, let me think, Tuesday. Tuesday, yes, I think it was Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember. Anyway, I got sick. I have a bout of diverticulitis that put me on the couch for the day, and then I was fine. It started coming on Sunday, and I thought that's what it was, and so I ended up just stitching all day, but I just wasn't feeling that great, and I told my husband I thought that's what it was coming on. So got through Sunday and called the doctor first thing on Monday morning because I didn't sleep well Sunday night. So called him Monday morning. He called me an antibiotic. So I'm taking that, and I'm feeling much better. So I'm not over it yet, but I still am feeling like being up and around. So anyway, I missed one day of stitching in January, and I was so disappointed because I really wanted to try to get every day in. So I'll just move on to February and see if I can get every day some stitching done on every day in February. And I have my little graphic that I was going to show you, and I cannot find it anywhere. It's got to be right here in something. So I don't know where it's at. Maybe we'll run onto it while I'm showing you things. I am going to show you my January stitching, and then I'm going to pause this and we're going to go upstairs, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be working on in February. So we will get started. I think, let me look at my projects. I did have a whip parade. If nobody, or if you haven't watched me before, I did do a whip parade. Not the last Flosstube, but the one before. I had 28 projects, and I did a whip parade on that, so you can see all those if you want to go back and watch them. I have a wide variety of projects. I like to stitch on a wide variety of things. So if you want to catch that, and we got snow just like most everybody else, or you got ice, and I think we got probably about 8 inches. My husband and I had to get out and go to the doctor to do blood work today, so that's why I'm doing a video. I really hadn't planned it this morning, but I was dressed up except no makeup because I thought I'm not putting makeup on to go to the doctor's office. So anyway, I'm not putting makeup on to do a video this morning either. So anyway, we got up, got ready, went to the doctor and did our blood work and came back home. But we've got maybe, my husband's guessing, about 8 inches. And it was funny because we had some kids, a couple of boys that came by the other day after we got all the snow and wanted to know if we wanted them to shovel our sidewalk. And Steve has a snowblower, but he hadn't been out because it's been so brutally cold. So anyway, I told him, I said, I don't know, but let me check and see if he's going to do it or if he wants to just pay them to do it. So he decided he'd pay them to do it, but he'd just show them how to run the snowblower. So they kind of had this look on their face like, I don't know if I can run a snowblower, but he said, I'll show you how to do it. And we have a lot of sidewalk to do because we go from one street here to the back of the house. It's another street. So they've got one city block here to clean, and then across the width of the yard. And then there's another one that kind of wraps up around the house. So plus the driveway. So they were going to have a lot to shovel. And so my husband got some warm clothes on, headed out, showed them how to do it. And it was so funny, those young boys. The one boy, I don't know how they chose, but the one boy ran the snowblower, and I mean, he was trucking right on down the sidewalk. He thought that was pretty cool, having all that snow blow, and they didn't have to shovel. But the other boy was shoveling the short sidewalk up to the porch and then the steps and all that stuff. So he kind of got the short end of the stick, I think. But anyway, we got that done, and no more snow predicted as far as I know, which is fine. I don't get out in it unless I absolutely have to. So, but I'm sure several of you got snow and ice. Jeanne and Ashley, hi. I hope you didn't get any more ice than what you showed me in the first picture. So, gosh, it looked like it was pretty bad there in some areas. So, let's see. I think that's about all I know as far as just talking about things that's been going on. So let's get on to my projects. And like I said, I stitched every day this month. My new plan for the year, if you're not familiar with it, if you haven't watched my other video, I have a tiny decision wheel, and January stitching. Well, what I did in December, I put every project that I had on a tiny decision wheel. And so for January, I spun, and I was trying to decide how many projects I thought I could work on comfortably through the month without overloading myself, but also so I didn't just run out of projects with a week and a half left or something. So anyway, I picked 6 projects, and I thought I could change this from month to month if I want to, because, as they say, my rules. So I put all of my projects on my tiny decision wheel, and then I made another wheel, separate wheels for each month of the year. So I have a January wheel. Well, I took the original wheel with all the whips on it, and I spun it 6 times and got those 6 projects for the month of January. And then I'm going to do the same thing for February. In fact, I think I have already done it through about June. I've got to look back on my paperwork, but I think I've already spun and written a list for like January to June. So if not, then I will do that same thing. I also have a certain number of stitches set as goals for each of these projects. And it kind of depends on the project as to what I set for a goal, because I've got a couple of projects I really want to make really good progress on. So I am putting more stitches in that. And then some that it's like, it's okay if I get them done, and not okay if not. So I kind of cut my stitches back for that, for the goal. But what I did on my planner, I did my planner the same as always. So each day I write what I worked on, and then the total stitches. I'm getting to where I'm doing more projects in Markup RXP. I've learned how to scan products, or scan patterns on my copier scanner, and how to get them over onto my tablet, and then I can upload them into Markup RXP, thanks to my daughter, because I'd never figured that out on my own. Because we have to scan them on the scanner to my laptop, change it around to where I can save it in a PDF, and then I have to email it to myself and pull my email up on my little tablet so I can get the project, the pattern over onto that. So it's not hard. I have individual, step-by-step instructions, so I can do it without reading the instructions now, but I would have never figured this out if it hadn't been for Angie, because she figured it all out. So anyway, I have each project written down here with the total for each day, and then I get that off of my Markup RXP. If I am using a paper copy, I've mentioned it before, I count and highlight at the same time. I mark my stitches off, count them as I go, mark them on a little scrap of paper, and then I put them on here. So then over here along the side, I have each project that I've stitched on, my goal stitching, my number of stitches set for a goal, and then underneath that I have the actual number that I did for that project. So my very first project starting January 1st was a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. And I've heard that I think they're calling it a pub stitch along, P-U-B, for peacock, unicorn, and a badger. I don't participate in any stitch alongs just because I stitch on what I want when I want, and I just don't do it. So anyway, I started filling in background this time. I should have showed you the picture. Of course, you all have seen this. There are a lot of people working on this. I love this piece, and I might be able to get it up a little closer. So I love that piece. Let me find where I can put this now, because I'm kind of limited on space. I have to stop this a minute. What do you all do about keeping your area organized? This is a total disaster area over here. I have my tray that clamps onto my couch arm. So I keep my tablet here, my little orange jar here, and all that kind of stuff. But then I've got my table here, and it is a total disaster. You know, you got all that stuff like hand lotion, and my little scissors, and my vitamins, and my lint roller to get dog hair off of my projects or my project bags, notepads, ink pen that quit working on me a while ago, my needle case, the dog brush, because I have to have that, my container with my glasses, a fan, my tea. There's just so much stuff that I have there. I wish I could figure out a way to keep it neater, but I can't. If you got any suggestions, let me know. I could use them. Okay, so I showed you a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger, and like I said, I I started filling in the background, and gosh, I am just loving this piece. I could stitch on this, I think, every day by itself, never working on another project till it's done. I just love this. And I was just looking on 123 Stitch the other day. I saw somebody on a Flosstube, I think, that was stitching on one that looks like almost like a companion piece to this. It's, what is it called? A lamb, a lion, and something else. I don't remember. But I went on 123 Stitch and I looked up the Scarlet Letter and I found it. But I didn't buy it because I am on a no buy for this year, unless it's certain circumstances, and that wasn't one. So I did not buy it, but maybe at some point I would. But gosh, that is so pretty. And I know, who is it? I don't remember. I'm going to know it just as soon as somebody starts to say it. But somebody dyed fabric, and I think it's called, the name of the green fabric is Pub for this, and it's in this green color so that you don't have to stitch the background. But I wanted to stitch the background, so this is where I'm at right now. You can see I've gotten all the way to the right and all the way down with the straight line border. And I did this border like I have seen other people do. You stitch a half stitch, and on your 10th stitch, you do a full cross, a full X, and that way it's easier to count, to know that you've gotten exactly the right number of stitches, so you don't have to keep going back and counting every individual stitch. So yeah, I just love this piece. So it is going to be, I think, I'm not sure, it may be on my monthly rotation, but I already have 2 on my monthly rotation, so it may have to set for a little bit. All right, let me see where I can put that until I can free up one of those 2. So the next one, I got to get my tablet here. The next one I stitched on, get the right button. I don't have, oh, the scanner's going off, so you're going to hear that. I don't have a copy of the piece because I didn't want to print one out and use all the ink up in my printer. So I just have a digital copy. And I do have this pattern on Markup RXP, and I don't think I could do it if it wasn't on there. It makes it so much easier. So, oh, I forgot to tell you. On Unicorn, a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger, I had a goal of 2,500 stitches for myself for January, and I actually got 2939, so 439 stitches more than what I had set my goal at. So I was pleased about that, and I did meet my goal on every project this month, and I have today, tomorrow, and Saturday? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Is this Thursday? This isn't Thursday, is it? It's Wednesday, I think. I said Wednesday. I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. Okay, so anyway, I still have 3 days roughly to stitch. So the second project I worked on is, I call it Bird on Apple because it doesn't really have a title, but that's my title. Turn around there. And that is this piece right here. And I love this piece. We're getting some glare off my tablet, but it's not too bad. But isn't that pretty? That little bird just looks so real. And the droplets on the water droplets on the apple is so realistic. So this is a pattern from Stitches for You on Etsy. And I had a goal of 2,500 stitches on this. And I got 2643, so I got 143 more stitches than I had planned. So I really, really like that. And that one is definitely staying on my monthly rotation. So let me pull it up. I'm doing this I didn't say because some of these are old. I've lost the back off of a needle magnet. Oh well, we won't worry about it right now. Okay, some of these are so old that y'all have seen them 100 times. But anyway, the first one that I showed you was on a 28 count Lugana, I think, in an off-white. And I'm doing 2/2. And then this one is the bird on apple, and I know it's hard to see what it could be, but if I pull this up, let me see if I can pull this up and hold them both up at the same time. If you look, you can see this is the apple right here, right up here. And then you can also see, let me see, can I do this? You can see the water droplets there in the upper left-hand corner. There's 2 water droplets. And it's not completely filled in there, but I am working on that. So you can see the leaf over here. And then there's some whitish colored background. So that's where I'm at on that. And I love this piece too. It has a lot of colors. It has about, oh, let me see, I have it right here. I'm thinking it had about 80 colors, so I've got them all in here, and this is all the colors it calls for. So it's all bobbinated and handy. Okay, the third project I worked on was vintage birds. And it is a pattern by Jeanette Douglas, and this is it. I started this way too long ago. Let me see, I do have my start dates on everything, but I don't have everything written down. Hold on a minute. I think I started this in January 1st of 2021. So this is way overdue to be done. So Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas. I'm doing it on a 32 count, and I'm not sure what the color is. But this is my progress. I had my goal set at 1,500 on this one, and I did a total of 1,752. And it was primarily all of this right through here. I did a few Algerian eyelets up in here. I didn't count those in my stitch total. I just needed to get that peacock tail filled in. And as you can see, I still have one right here to fill in. But I ran out of thread at that last one, and I just didn't start it over yet. So anyway, I've got all of this done down in here, ready to move on over. As you can see, I did a small amount right there. So that is Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas. Let's see where else I can set these. And then let's see, this will be my 4th project for the month. And this is Miss Lucy Calcutt. It's the 1825 pattern. There are 2 Lucy Calcutt designs out there. But I can't remember what the other one is, but I saw somebody working on it the other day, because when she said Lucy Calcutt, I thought, I don't think mine looks like that. And then when I pulled it up, it wasn't. There's 2 different ones. So this is the 1825 Lucy Calcutt. Get it so it's not quite so glary. And I don't like having to take these in and out of my bag, so we'll just make do. And this one is done on, I believe, a 32 count. I'm not exactly sure. Let me look on my bag here and see if I have anything written on there. Of course not. Other than it was started September 8th of 22. So this is where I'm at here. I primarily did this through here in January. There is a small, that little bitty red flower down there. There's nothing beyond where it's rolled up. That's all just blank fabric. So I did unroll it enough to get that little red flower in because it was connected up to this one on that page, and I wanted to get it done. And then I moved on over here. So I was able to work really good, make good progress through here. And then I think I also did this flower here, and I did that little dab there that I didn't have on there. So yeah, I really like this piece. You can see through it, but that's okay. So that is Lucy Calcutt. I had her goal set at 1,500 stitches also, and I got 2,121. So I got about 600 stitches more on her. And then what I'm also doing when I do my stitching, if I set a goal, whatever my goal is, I just don't stop right there. I get it over the goal amount, and it's just kind of like at a stopping point that works well at the end of the day, usually. So I might have 50 extra stitches, I might have 200. I don't want to stop in the middle of the day when I hit a goal and pull out another project. So I just stitch on it for the whole day. All right, so then my 5th project was Let Freedom Ring by Leela Studio. And if you've watched my videos in the past, you know I'm trying to get this done by June of this year so that I can have it ready for the 250th celebration of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I am making great progress on this. This is by Leela Studio, in case I didn't say that. But yeah, I am making some awesome progress on this. I have this goal set high again at 2,500 stitches, and I have managed to get almost all of this in here. I think I had the blue windows in over here when I started at the first of the month, but I got all of this in, not the roof, but this through here, the bushes that are shining through this, all of these, I think they're basement windows, and these arches here. I did some of these windows in here that are kind of hard to see because they're in an off-white. But yeah, I had a goal of 2,500 stitches for January for this, and I had actual stitching of 2,764. So very, very pleased with how I'm doing on this. So as you can see, let me get the pattern back out and just compare them. I have to finish the building, which to me is not going to take all that long now. I'm just making such good progress. And then, okay, we're going to have to do this different. Let me lay this down. And then I have to do this down through here, which I think will go pretty fast also. A lot faster than what that building was, because that building is it is big. There are a lot of stitches in that building. And there's a lot of mistakes in that building. I've said before there's a lot of mistakes in this pattern. Let me show you one thing that I can pull right quick that I do know just off the top of my head. You have to use your own judgment on some of these designs. Let me move over here to this one. My fingers are cold. Just a second, because I want to show you this one. Okay. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think this window is supposed to look like it. There's one window here, and yes, this is the chart, but you're not going to stitch Let Freedom Ring by one page that I'm showing you. So, I don't think that window is supposed to look like that, because nowhere on here does it look like that anywhere else. And it doesn't look like that. Of course, this is not the greatest clear, I mean, it's not a good clear picture, but it's not on there either. And over on the other side, let me get beyond that page. There is also, I think I've got my pages all turned upside down and wacky. Um, the thing I'm wondering about, and it may be now that I'm looking at, because I've been looking at it in Markup RXP, I'm kind of thinking that maybe they forgot to put the back stitching lines on them. All right, hold on, because I'm having a heck of a time finding that page. There goes the snowplow. Okay, here it is. All right, you see it's on this window here, and this is on the other side. One is over here, and one is over here. Either over here or over here. I don't remember offhand. I think it's, okay, it's by the chimney. But all these windows look the same. So I am not sure. When I get these out, you can see these are back stitched. These are not. On the chart, they all look the same. So I'm not sure if these are not supposed to be back stitched and these are supposed to be back stitched, or you know, what's what. I'm thinking that maybe, let me show you again. Since this bottom row is back stitched and this one is back stitched, I am thinking that the rest of these are supposed to be back stitched, according to the ones that are. Like, if this one's back stitched and the rest of them aren't, maybe they all need to be. So I'm gonna play it by ear. That's what I've been doing with all of them, because I've noticed there's a couple of mistakes listed somewhere. It might be on Leela Studio's website, but there's some listed, but there are so many mistakes in this piece that I don't know if they've run this chart a second printing, but there are a lot of mistakes that need to be corrected in this, and I don't want to pick about it, but you know, one or two, you can't expect them to be perfect, but there are, I have never seen a chart with so many mistakes in it in the printing. So I would think they would go back and correct that on their next printing. But anyway, just use your own judgment, because there's mistakes down in this brickwork down here. There's mistakes up in this greenery that goes around here. There might be over here. I can't remember. I know there is over here. But this down in here's got some. And then, like I said, the windows look like a bigger problem. But I'm just going to use my own judgment and get through it. So anyway, and like I said, I'm not picking at the designer, other than if they're going to do another printing, it needs to be corrected. And there went my new starts. Okay. Yeah, I did give you my, this is done on a 36 count, and I don't know what it is. I think it might be just a cream colored linen. I have no idea. It's something I had in my stash, and I pulled it out. Okay, my last project, and I met my goal on it last night, because I had a day of nothing but setting and stitching yesterday. I stitched from almost the time I got up, shortly after I got up, all day, all morning, all afternoon, all evening. I stopped to eat. I did get up and ran the vacuum a little bit, and that was just about all I did yesterday. So this last one that I stitched on is Queenie by the Artsy Housewife. I wasn't really into stitching this at this time, but I thought it's on the wheel. The wheel picked it, and I am trying to go along with my plans, as I said, and I've always said I don't like to be told what to stitch, but I really wasn't into it, but I thought, well, I'll just stitch on it and see how it goes. And once I got started, it's like everything else, you just get on a roll, and so it wasn't bad at all. So this one is stitched on a 32 count again, or it may be I think it's a 36 because I'm using one strand of floss. And I think this is Mystic, not 100% sure, because this actually called for, what does it call for? 40 count steel by fiber on a whim. And I had this, I bought it to do another project on, and it wasn't the right, I mean, it was the right color, I think, but I didn't care for it. So I decided this was a good piece for this Halloween project. So yesterday I finished stitching the black, or the last, I think I did this, I met my goal on this in 2 days. I did. So my goal this month, I finished the crow up in here. I had a little bit of these flowery looking things here. I think of them as orange blossoms because they're leaves and then there's round little oranges, but I know they're not. But anyway, I did all of this down through here. I ended up getting the border all the way around and back up to the other side. And my magnet's going to fall off. Got it all up around the other side. I put in a couple of these little whitish colored flowers. I put this in, but I still have to add another color into that area. So I was really pleased with my progress on this. I had a goal of 1,500 stitches on this one, and I actually got 1,715 stitches. So I'm pleased with all of my stitching for this month. I hope all the rest of them go that smoothly. Hold on just a minute and I'll pick up my stuff off the floor. Okay, I got that picked up off the floor. Now, I did kit up a couple of pieces the other day, and I have to tell you about my kits because I have taken all my whips and I put them on their plastic skirt or pant hangers instead of having all 28 in boxes laying around in my sewing room taking up floor space. I cleared out an area in that closet in that room, and I took all the whips and I hung them by these pant hangers and put them in that closet. No rhyme or reason yet because I wanted to get it done. I really need to organize it to where I have my oldest to my newest, but I haven't gotten that far. So then the other day I decided I had a, the cardboard cases that are covered with fabric and they're collapsible. I had a couple of those full of kits and stuff I kitted up. So I decided I was going to do something about opening up floor space on that. Just a second, please. So I took all the kits, and again, I was going to use the pant hangers. I ran out, so I had some felt, the children's size felt hangers, and I just used, the binder clips that you can buy in Office Supply. I was going to use clothespins, but that didn't work. It took up too much space. So I got the, not the small size, but it's not the biggest size either. I just kind of got a medium size binder clip and pinned them to the clothes hanger, and then I folded those little metal wings down, and so everything hangs pretty close together. So I put all those kits on that rod too with my whips, and oh my gosh, do I have the kits. I had no idea I had that many kits and things that I have kitted up. I do not need, as I said, this has to be a no-buy year because I don't need anything. I have so much stuff. I have so much stuff that it's overwhelming to me that I have this much stuff. But, when you see it and you don't want to miss it, you buy it and then you put it away and you forget about it and then you run onto it later and you see it, but you don't really, it doesn't register that you have this much stuff. That's why I have 2 rooms. I have a sewing room with all my fabrics and that stuff. I have my quilting room with my long arm, and all my cross-stitch stuff is in there. Plus, I have a ton of yarn that's stored in Rubbermaids. So, anyway, yeah, I cannot spend any more money. I need to start thinning down. So, anyway, I did kit up these two because I wanted to get in on the game that everybody, well, it's not really a game. I just wanted to get in on the action. Let's put it that way. I have almost all of the animal crackers, and I haven't stitched a one of them. And everybody is working on them, and they are so darn cute. I just love these little guys, and I thought, I keep thinking, I need to get one started. I need to get one started. Every time I turn around, it's like, oh, I really need to start one of those. Every time I see somebody working on them. So I thought, I'm going to start it. So I pulled every one of my animal crackers out, and I sit down here, and I was flipping through them and looking and trying to decide. So I pulled out, my husband counted them. I think I had 9 I'd pulled out. 7 or 9. 9, I think. And so I told him, I said, I want to stitch them, but I don't know which one to stitch. But I said, I have these pulled out that I like the best, that I really want to start. So I handed them to him, and he said, he shuffled them all up. And he said, pick a number. So I picked a number, and what was it? I told him, I said, I don't think I want to stitch on Halloween, even though I'd pulled it out. Or they got mixed in or something. But anyway, I think I called a number twice, and the next number was Maggie Mae, and I love Maggie Mae. Isn't she cute? I've seen her done with so many color changes that I decided to do mine, kind of based on what other people are doing, but not totally. What I ended up doing is this color of fabric, and again, can't tell you what it is. It's just a darker, primitive looking fabric. I have a big chunk of it. It may be a half yard. I have a good size piece. So it might be what do they call that? A fat yard? I don't remember now. But I've got a lot, so I can do multiples on it, because I'm going to use I probably will use Civil War reproduction fabric for the backing on it. So anyway, what I decided on as far as floss colors, back early last year, early 2025, there goes the plow again, there was a quilt shop in our town that was going out of business, and they were having an online auction, and I didn't even know they carried floss. I mean, I never go in there, so I just, I never knew they carried floss. Well, they had different lots of, it's called Circulo. It's C-I-R, let me find it again so you'll know what I'm talking about. C-I-R-C-U-L-O. And it's 100% cotton floss. I did use one strand of it a little while back, and I did like stitching with it. So I'm not going to take it all out of the bags, but this is what, well, this bag's open, so I can show you one of them. So this is the label. Let's see. Let me cover up here. Is it getting clear? It's kind of hard to look, and yeah. Maxi Moline, and then Circulo, and then this is the floss number, 908. So anyway, I won on this online auction. I won all but one lot, and the lot that I didn't win was a small lot of variegateds, and I still won one of the lots of variegated threads that was mixed in with some solids, I think. But anyway, I got all the floss I think they had auctioning off online. So when I brought it home, I had, this is how I keep my spare DMC. I keep them in Ziploc bags. I put an index card in here with the color number at the top. I have 2 of those under the bed storage wooden things that you pull out. It looks kind of like a drawer. I took foam core and made dividers for it, and then I stand all of these up in the drawers, you know, like this, so that they're all numerical. So I did that with the Circulo, and I thought, well, I'll just use it, you know, for what I gave for it. I'll just use it randomly here and there, but I hadn't used it since I bought it. So I thought, well, I'll pull this out and match up some colors for Maggie Mae, and that's a good way to use it. So what I ended up doing, and you'll have to let me know if you think something's not right, but I think I like all my choices. I have this gray for Maggie Mae because I decided to do a gray bunny. So I'm doing that for her. She's going to have, let me see, her dress is going to be this blue, and she's going to have the shaded areas like the fold of her dress. No, let me see, that's her dress. Let me get this right. This is going to be her sweater, I think. Nope, that's not right either. Let me do it this way. Here. This is going to be her sweater because I have to get it all paired up. It's kind of a dusty pink, and this is a darker dusty pink. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't have, you know, I should have brought it light down for today, and I didn't do that. I need to remember that if I do that down here again. So anyway, this is going to be her sweater. This is going to be the shaded areas on her sweater. This is going to be her dress. This is going to be, I believe this is going to be, where's it this? This is going to be the flowers on the dress. Now it got lighter in here, didn't it? This is her shoes because she had red shoes on, and I think that's what I'm going to do there. So, and then there's some like neutrals and stuff for little areas on her too. But anyway, that's what I think I'm going with for Maggie Mae. So I want to get her started, and I might start it today since I have free stitching days now at the end of the month. So the next thing that I am going to start, and I've got my working copy here, so if this doesn't show up very good, that's my original, but it may glare. You can't really see that good with it anyway. This is Summer ABC by Little House Needleworks, and on my last 1, 2, 3 stitch order, I ordered all 4 seasons of the ABCs, and I wanted to start summer. So I didn't want to put it on this colored fabric. I wanted some kind of color. It says 32 count Winter's Brew by R&R. I don't know. I didn't want it on this. I wanted a color of some kind of color, and I was thinking some kind of a springy, what am I thinking, summery, springy color. I'm trying to find my floss because I had it here and I don't know where it went. Probably fell off on the other side. Oh well. So anyway, this is the color that I ended up going with. This is 28 count Lugana, because these come out really small but long. They are, did I say 28? It's a 32. I know I did the same stitch count. 32 count because they're 39 stitches by 311 stitches. So they come out approximately 2 3/8 by 19 3/8. So, are you laying on my floss bug? No, it's right here. Okay, so it was going to come out to that size, so I decided I'd go on and do it on the same fabric count that they did. But this is a Lugana or a Joblin or whatever the heck they are. It's like I said, a 32 count. This was white or an off-white. I took 2 shades of Rit dye. If you go on Rit dye's website, you can get a catalog. Well, you print it out is what you do, and that's what I did. There's lots and lots of pages of colors, and it'll give you a little thumbnail of the color, and then it tells you what you need to mix to get that color. Now, these are big batches. When they tell you what to mix, they're big batches. So all I do is I get those colors, but if I see what color uses the most, I'll just put more of that in than the others. So you kind of have to play with it. And I just put a few drops, of dye in the container. So this one, it was apple green, I believe. Apple green, lemon yellow, and taupe. And you wouldn't think taupe was in there, but it was. And it's just, let me put it against this white background. You can see the difference here. So it's a little bit of a yellow tint, little bit of a green tint, but it's not quite a bright color. That partly is not only because I toned it down with the taupe, but also because I didn't use a lot of dye in the water either. Because the more you add to the water, the darker it's going to be. So I just wanted a light, kind of summery, springish color, and I really like the way it turned out. And then these, I just got them thrown on here now. These are the colors that are going to be used, and I think they're going to be really pretty. I was wanting, it called for this 3012 and 3011, so those were my main concerns. I wanted them to be along the same line that they would go with these two flosses, and I think it does. I think they look real good with those two flosses. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. So anyway, again, this is another one that I want to start. I think it'll go fairly quick when I'm stitching on it because of the alphabet, and it's so small. Don't know how often I will stitch on it because I do have my whips that are already started that already have my goals set on those. So anyway, these are just 2 that I'm going to start at some point. Like I said, I think I may start Maggie Mae this afternoon. But anyway, now I'm going to pause this, and we will take a trip upstairs to my quilting room, and we will look at February projects. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, well, I am up here in my sewing room, and I thought I had a list of my projects that I was going to work on for January through June. I have looked all over for this list, except you will see why I can't find it. Let me show you just a minute. This is one of my New Year's projects, I guess, that I decided to do. And it was to pull every piece of fabric, cross-stitch fabric out I had. I am trying to, let me set you back down just a minute while I explain this. I got every single thing out. I put it in piles of the stitch count. And I'm trying to get, if it's got a sticky label on it, I'm taking the sticky label off, putting a written label on it. Ironing it because I'm trying to get the folds out of all of this fabric. I want to come up with a new idea for storing my fabric. I have a legal size file cabinet, 4-drawer file cabinet. Now right now I've got all my fabric in 2 of those drawers, but they are packed. So I may end up, the bottom drawer has hardback quilting books in it. The top drawer is full of sock yarn. So I may have to empty out one of those when I get ready to redo this and get my fabric all in that. That was the goal when I bought this file cabinet, was for my fabric. So what I'm trying to do, like this piece here, I am trying to get it ironed, wet down, whatever I need to do to get these fold lines out of it. And then the best thing I found online as far as storing fabric to keep wrinkles out is wrap them around cardboard tubes, shipping tubes, which on Amazon are ridiculously high, or pool noodles. Well, I'm in the market for pool noodles, so I think that might be my best option because I kept thinking of something round, but if you try to roll it, it's just going to flatten out with the weight on top. So right now I'm in the market for pool noodles, and I haven't found any cheap ones yet, and it's definitely not pool noodle season. So that may have to be put on hold, but I can continue to sort and press them and lay them out. So right now, this is my long arm table, and I'm just going to turn because I don't know if this is going to shut off if I try to flip the camera. So this is my long arm machine up here. So let me stand up, and I will try to do it this way. So I have, like, this is all 30 count fabric here. And you can see I have let me get it down here to where you can actually see. You can see I have a ton of 30 count fabric. I have 36 fabric, lots and lots of it. I have 32 count. I can't even get over there because I have my table right here under me. Down there is, what's it say? I can't even see from here. I don't know. A 28? No, that's 40 count. Right down here is 40 count. I have some odd pieces laying up there. I've got some 19 count linens down there on the end. These are Adas that I've got up here. Let me see. Let me try to hold this different. These are Adas. This is a piece. This is all 22 count right here. This is 16 count. This is all Heatherfield. This is Adas. This is 18 counts here. As you can see, I have tons and tons. And this is my work table. Let me see if I can turn it. As you can see here, I have all of this, all of this. So, and this isn't the 28 count. Let me move my table. I mean, this is crazy. This is my 28 count down in the drawer. Wait a minute. This is 10 count. Wait a minute. Hold on. Can you see it? Okay. This is all 10 count. This is miscellaneous, so they're smaller pieces. This is all 28 count. This is 14 count, 10 count, perforated paper, perforated plastic. So yeah, that is all my fabric. So as you can see, I have more than I am ever going to use. And I've got to get some organization to it. I had it somewhat organized, and then I decided it needed to be unfolded was my main concern. So anyway, so much for that. I am going to, let me put you back up here so we can see. I am going to try to pause this and see if I have this in my notes on my phone of what I'm going to stitch on in February. It may shut my video off, and if it does, I will try to record that of my February stitching plans and tack it on to the end. I'm not good at it. I haven't done it but once or twice, but I will try to do it and show you what I'm going to stitch on in February. So if not, I may have to show you on another video. So if it's here, good. And if it doesn't show up, then you know I had a problem with it. So it is what it is. And I'll show you my February stitching on my next video in February. So Anyway, yeah, I really need to be up here ironing fabric. Oh, and I'm serging around the edges of all of it too, so it won't keep raveling. So yeah, that's another thing. Ironing it, and if you know a good way to get wrinkles out, I tried soaking some of it, not my dyed, my hand-dyed fabrics, but just some Aida cloth, like 18 count Aida. I tried soaking it. I thought maybe fabric softener would soften up the fabric enough I could iron the creases out, and it did pretty good. But I just wondered if you have a good idea for getting almost permanent wrinkles out of some of this stuff. So I'm gonna continue to work on that. So ironing, serging, labeling, wrapping around pool noodles when I get the pool noodles. So I think that's it on that. So anyway, like I said, if you see February tacked onto the end of this, everything went well, and if not, it'll be on my next video. So that's it for now. I hope you get lots of stitching done and stay warm. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you can stay cool, because I know it's been hot down there. So anyway, I will see you next time and get lots of stitching done. Bye.